Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Last week I did a short video about how Adrien Broner made the usual tit of himself by going into McDonald's and berating some kid who was on minimum wage because his order wasn't correct, or some nonsense. Whether Broner was under the influence or not, I don't know, don't care. I think he's an idiot. But a few people in the comments section said, well, he was always crap. He was never a good boxer. He never had any talent. He was a hype job. I don't agree. I think Broner did have a lot of talent, most of which he has squandered. Now, let's look at Broner's record. I mean, at the moment, he's 34 years old, so he's probably past his best now. 35 wins with 24 KOs, 4 defeats, all on points, and 1 draw. And the draw was against Jesse Vargas back in 2018. And since then, he's fought 3 times in 5 years. He's got 2 wins, which were on points. Giovanni Santiago in 2021 and Bill Hutchinson earlier this year. And he lost a 12-round decision to Manny Pacquiao in 2019. And that was for the WBA welterweight title. Now, 5 years, last 5 years, that would take him back to being 28, 29, probably in his prime. He's just pissed his talent away. He actually has a fight schedule with Chris Howard, a guy called Chris Howard, who's 18-2-1. I don't know anything about Chris Howard. This is in Miami in November, and I think it's a Don King card. I always wonder if anyone says they've signed with Don King, normally with a suitcase of money on the table or a briefcase of money, and they go, "Oh, I'll have that." And are they going to make any money when they actually fight? I always wonder whether these people get paid. But I think Rigondeaux was on the last Don King card with Broner. I wonder if either of them got paid. I don't know. But anyway, if you go back though, you go all the way back to, let's go back 10 years, okay? Now, 10 years ago, Marcus Maidana was the first person to beat Broner, and he beat him in December of 2013. A 12-round decision, great fight. Broner was on the floor in the 2nd and the 8th. Was it the 8th? It was later on, 8th or 9th, wasn't it? Yeah, and he lost his WBA World Welterweight title, which he won off Paulie Malignaggi the same year, a split decision win. Now, look, I've never seen a guy who had shown so much guts, because Broner showed a lot of guts in that fight. He got up from bad knockdowns. He was getting the crap beaten out of him by Maidana, but he hung tough and he even had his moments in that fight. But I've never seen someone give that much, and other people are so delighted that he lost. I mean, it's like celebrations. It was like silly string and, bunting everywhere. Hey, he lost, that arsehole lost, and well done, Maidana. Maidana became a great hero and had the 2 Mayweather fights, made a lot of money and walked off into the sunset. Good luck to the man as well. But the fact that people celebrated so much with Broner that he'd lost that fight, even though he showed a ton of guts and hung tough to last the distance, it just showed you how disliked he was. And, Malignaggi, the build-up to their fight was all about some girl who Malignaggi had like a little side piece for Malignaggi, and then Broner had come along and picked her up, and, I think it's sad, and it ain't the way I think women should be treated, but, each to his own, I suppose. And Broner, was riding on Malignaggi. Malignaggi was kicking back, and then the fight happened. And afterwards, Malignaggi went over to Broner to shake his hand, and Broner just took the piss. Malignaggi got irate. I understand Malignaggi. Once the fight's done, you should shake hands. Malignaggi's got a bit of class, obviously. Broner hasn't got much. But if you go back to 2012, just a year before, when Broner fought Antonio DeMarco, who was WBC World Lightweight Champion. Now, DeMarco was a decent fighter, very good fighter, and Broner basically toyed with him. And that was at lightweight. So Broner jumped up from giving a very good performance against DeMarco. Prior to that, he stopped Vincent Escobedo in 5 rounds. He did Eloy Perez, who was undefeated at the time, in I think 4 rounds. So he jumped up 2 weight divisions. Why? I mean, he was looking really, really hot at lightweight, and he should have stuck with lightweight. But no, he wanted to go up. And I think later on in his career, he came down and picked up a belt at super lightweight. And he was beating, after the Maidana fight. He beat Carlos Molina, unanimous decision over 10. Then he beat Emmanuel Taylor, who was 17-1 at the time. That was a 10-rounder. John Molina Jr., he beat him on points. I mean, these are decent names with decent records, and Broner's been. Then he fought Sean Porter and lost the fight, lost unanimous decision, but did have Porter down in the 12th round, and Porter was a tough guy to put on the floor. I think it was a Russian fellow whose name I can't remember. Should have looked it up beforehand, but I think he then dropped down from welter. He stayed at 140 and won a title off this guy Habib someone, I can't remember. It begins with an A, Alek Verdiev or something like that. I've pronounced that wrong, I'm sure. But anyway, he won a belt there, which was a super lightweight belt. I think he defended it against Ashley Theophane. And Adrien Granados, he won a split decision over him. I mean, these are all, B plus level fighters, or some call them B level fighters, B minus maybe, B minus to B plus fighters. And he's beaten some of them. But after losing to Porter, he then took on Mikey Garcia, who was undefeated at the time, 36-0, lost a unanimous decision to him, very comfortable win for Garcia, and then he lost to Pacquiao. So it's a shame that he just threw his talent away, because like I say, you go back 10, 11 years, he was looking the part. He did have talent. I mean, one fight that sticks in my mind, and I know it was against Jason Litzau. And Litzau was all right. Litzau wasn't a bad little fighter, and Broner just wiped him out in a round. And that was a decent win. I remember thinking Broner looked. Sometimes it's how you get your work done. You know what I mean? Like Litzau had beaten Celestino Caballero, and in Rocky Juarez, technical decision. I think he split decision over Caballero. Rocky Juarez he beat on a technical decision, and he was looking all right. He was looking like a good B-level fighter, and Broner just brushed him aside in the round. It was a big victory for Broner. So no, I don't hold with the idea that Broner had no talent. I think he's purely pissed it away with stupid decisions. I don't know how much money he's got left. He used to call himself about billions. I doubt whether he's even got millions now. He's probably, I think he's got about 5 kids by 5 women or something like that. He's probably dishing out the money on child maintenance. If you're going to live that lifestyle and you want that wannabe gangster thing, and it's going to bite you in the arse, it's going to come back, and I think it did with Broner. Yeah, and of course we have to say, this kind of sums up the current game. Broner has held belts in 4 divisions. The guy's a 4-division world champ. When you consider some of the great fighters who can't call themselves world champ in even 1 division. I just don't even get me started on that alphabet soup weight division crap. But I just think Broner is someone who could have done a lot more. Could have made a lot more money. He probably wouldn't have held on to it. But he's still fighting at 34. Like I say, he's got this Chris Howard guy in November. If he's with Don King, I would love to know whether these guys get paid. I'd love to know. Old Don's in his 90s. You want to be a gangster? Look at Don. He killed 2 men. He was in prison a long time, and I go back to the days when Don King cards were absolutely stacked with great fights. And you'd stay up and watch them on free TV on ITV in the early hours, and you'd sit for like 5 hours watching it. Some have made like 5 world title fights on. Don King ruled the roost in the 80s and 90s. He was the promoter, bigger even than Arum. And now, of course, he puts on cards with people like Broner and Rigondeaux, who are way past their best. He puts them on in what look like school gymnasiums. You half expect to see the janitor, sweeping the floor in between rounds. Anyway, just a few thoughts on Adrien Broner. What do you think? Do you agree that he had talent, or do you think he was always a hype job? I know some of you do. Leave your thoughts below. I always like reading your thoughts and answering them. And yeah, if you could spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing, get your mates to subscribe, that'd be fantastic, and hit the like button. And as always, thank you for your time. We will speak again soon, and bye for now.